actually life advice I take, that this is something I've always thought of, and whenever I think of anything, it's it always can get worse. What do you think? My second best advice is stay black and don't do anything your money wouldn't do.
One chance, one shot, that's it. Any mistake that you make, it's done. You're done.
Little did Omi know, starting this YouTube channel could have been the one mistake that would ultimately land him in federal prison. That very first video that Omi posted got 60,000 views in the first 3 days. The video shows Omar stepping out of his mansion, walking down his long driveway
he's got a lot of
with
nice
more
ass
than
cars.
15 all-white cars
What
parked
the
in it,
hell?
and telling the viewers about his entrepreneurial endeavors. From there, he drives to his first
Jen, you want to recreate the SM64 clip with me now? Ah, God. You don't understand what that clip, how hard it was to create that clip. It required so much work and yeah, I'm down. Whenever I come to LA, we can just do it immediately.
nightclub that he owns, where they are doing renovations. Then he goes to his second nightclub, where they just made the final touches before opening. Omi continued to post vlogs that started with motivational messages about life.
You have one thing, an advantage over a lot of people. You're free,
What the
you're young, and you're healthy.
What the hell is that chain? What the actual fuck is that? I have never seen a chain that thick. It is a big boy. So that's a really thick chain. It's not even a bike lock.
No excuses. Stop trying to keep up with everybody.
You get that from Anixia.
Stop going out buying Balenciaga.
Typically, the middle of his videos would be him tending to his businesses.
It was so hard. I love hard. You mean try hard, Jen? I know you're back to Twitch. It's try hard.
Buying expensive clothes, jewelry, new cars, vintage cars, tour buses, and even houses.
Damn.
For a wildly successful man, he was relatable, down to earth, and kind. Far from the narcissistic.
I need to work on that. I think my big problem in life is I'm not relatable, because I am what is that word? Narcissist or whatever the fuck. I need to work on that. So anyone relatable to you guys? What is something that chat would understand with me being relatable? Yesterday, chat, I took a shower. Yep.
Narcissistic rich.
Me too,
assholes,
right?
which
Hey,
is
you
on
know,
the
I mean,
internet.
and that shit was hot. It was hot, right? Anyone else have a hot shower? It was hot. Dude, it was good. Anyone else feeling that? Same? Yeah, I had a hot shower. Just like, yeah, hey, same here.
Within 2 months, he reached 100,000 subscribers.
No, Cole,
By the end of summer 2019, he had 300,000 subscribers. But every time he was asked about how he obtained his wealth, his answers were extremely vague.
What do I do for a living? Started off as an app developer.
By the way, drink water. But as Omi spent more time showcasing his lifestyle on the internet and being more open about how he made his
I made Flappy Bird.
money, he caught the attention of the FBI. And on November 20th, 2019, just 6 months after his first video, they raided his home.
Did they find a pizza box and that's how they found him?
This case file shows 88 lines of personal property that the federal government seized from Omi.
Oh my
Over
God.
the next couple of months, the FBI confiscated $5,875,000, 58 vehicles, including a 2020 Lamborghini Huracan, a 2019 Lamborghini Aventador, and a 2019 Audi A7. They also took 21 properties, including buildings in downtown Philadelphia and mansions in the suburbs. You would think that in a situation as serious as this, Omi would keep quiet. But as soon as this happened, he went live on YouTube to tell his fans about the raid. At first, he thought the feds were after him for tax evasion, which was partially true, and Omi claimed that he was innocent. But it wasn't just taxes that the feds were worried about.
Bro, when I tell you they took everything, they took every SD card, every camera, every television in my house. Houses, IPTV is a gray area. You know, the Copyright Act hasn't been updated since the 1960s.
Right, that's the problem.
And you know, I hit a fucking gray area and exploited it, and they just didn't like it.
Omi thought he had found a loophole in the US copyright law and was exploiting it. Now, if at this point you're feeling extremely confused as to how this guy even got into this situation in the first place, this is exactly how his hundreds of thousands of fans felt. Ironically, once the feds raided him, that's when Omi started opening up about exactly how he made his fortune.
Ooh.
Omi and a Hellcat, whose real
He made
name
two
is
apps.
Bill Omar Carrasquillo, operated a large-scale Internet Protocol Television, or IPTV, piracy scheme in which they fraudulently obtained cable television accounts and then resold copyrighted content to thousands of their own subscribers who could then stream or play back content. This piracy scheme all started on Kodi. Kodi is essentially just a media player that's available on any
Oh, chat's gonna say based and cool now because they're stealing from the big people, the Comcasts of the world, so they're not gonna give a shit.
device. People use Kodi to watch videos, podcasts, movies, play games, listen to music, etc. However, Kodi doesn't make its own content. It's an open source streaming platform that anyone can make apps on. Because of this, it's mostly known for people who watch pirated or stolen content. Most people used Kodi on Amazon Fire Sticks. They would go on the Kodi app, install all their favorite networks, and stream
9gag.
content for free. But it's not that easy. A lot of these add-ons can be riddled with malware or just end up being bogus apps that don't work or stream low-quality content, which leads to people Googling things like best Kodi add-ons for free and searching through blogs to find out what apps are the most trusted, like The Crew or Daddy Live. Not only does researching and installing these apps take a little bit of technical skill, it also is just a lot of work. Around 2016, Omi was exposed to this and saw a huge opportunity. Omi would buy Amazon Fire Sticks for $40, jailbreak them, or install all the best and most trusted apps onto Kodi, then resell them for about $120 to $150 to his customers, essentially giving customers cable TV for a one-time fee. The reason we know this is because he had no problem telling people his scheme.
And back when Kodi was popping, you know what I'm saying, I was one of the first ones doing Kodi.
But you really make that
And
much
that's how
money
I made
doing
my
that
money.
though?
Buying these boxes from Amazon already preloaded and just reselling them for more money. I'll buy them for $50, sell them for $120, $150. Now I was selling thousands of Fire Sticks. I'm talking about a lot of Fire Sticks.
In 2016, Omi said that he made $1 million flipping Fire Sticks. That gave him enough money to fund his next piracy venture, which would make him tens of millions of dollars. By this
I'm
point,
excited.
Omar was kind of a regular in the online piracy community,
that
which
his
is
dick?
surprisingly
It's
large.
huge.
I was a negative person in Kodi because I was like a wrestler. There was good guys and there were bad guys. I was the bad guy because that's how I got people's attention.
He was known by the username Target in 1080p. His YouTube channel was originally named Target in 1080p and featured videos of him discussing things in the IPTV space. One particular man named Dexter took a liking to him. Dexter was a developer and Omi was the financial backbone. Together, they made an app for Kodi called Gears TV, which was inspired by his favorite video game,
Gears of War. Yeah, okay.
Gears TV was Omi's all-in-one digital content
And they put
package
Gears of
with
War
some
on
of
it. Oh,
your
that's
favorite
fucking sick.
shows
I
like
want this
Game
now.
of Thrones, Better
Oh.
Call Saul,
Oh.
Twin Peaks, all of the major networks like ABC, ESPN, and Fox, channels that are only shown in the UK and Canada, and even more premium packages like NFL Sunday Ticket. Gears TV provided all of that content in 1080p resolution for as low as $15 per month. If someone were to pay for regular cable, it could cost them anywhere from
Oh, it's gonna
$60
cost you like
to
$100
$200 per month. But how was he able to do this? Essentially, what Omi did was purchase cable subscriptions from Comcast, Spectrum, Verizon, DirecTV, and Frontier Communications. These cable subscriptions come with a box that contains encrypted media. Omi purchased decoders from China to remove the encryption, then capture cards to download the content and send it to a server where it would be redistributed over the internet to his subscribers. Gears TV was cheap and provided way more value and content than any cable company could ever compete with.
Not bad,
and
Chet.
word spreads fast in the IPTV community. Omi went from making $5,000 per week to $400,000 per week in just a few months. The indictment claims that in total, the defendants received more than $30 million in subscriber fees. Omi said he was still living in the hood of Philly at this point, and nobody knew the kind of money he was raking in. His first purchase was a 2016 Camaro SS 50th Edition, his dream car. Keep in mind, Gears TV was no small operation. They had large servers, customer service representatives, and the government did have their eye on these schemes. As it got more popular, the monthly price increased, which pissed off customers as their $15 per month turned into $20, then $30, then $40, getting
Oh, they
closer
might as
and
well just
closer
pay.
to
Yeah, what the
regular
hell?
cable
Just pay regular
prices.
television.
Omi sold his app to a private investment company in 2018 for a whopping $40 million. This was perhaps his most genius move because not too long after, Gears TV shut down.
Yeah.
But it did not stop there. Omi used his large payout and expertise to build a new and improved app called Reloaded TV. This was everything Gears was and more, with a way better interface
Sex
and
and the
higher
City!
quality content. Reloaded very quickly became one of the biggest apps in the IPTV space because of its great user interface and reliability. It's unclear what exactly happened to Reloaded TV. It seems like it wasn't around for very long, because in 2019 Omar abandoned the Target in 1080p name and changed it to Omi in a Hellcat, and he stopped talking about the IPTV space as a whole. He claims he knew the industry was dying and the feds were cracking down on other apps similar to Reloaded. Now, is it possible that Omi's YouTube channel alerted the FBI? Not necessarily, but it didn't help his case. Anyone who is in the business of distributing media knows there are others trying to steal it, but
Right.
Omi's YouTube channel promoting his own brand and attaching a face to the scheme just made it that much easier to identify the perpetrator. Bragging and flaunting his wealth could have pissed off authorities, and yeah, they're human. Maybe they did want to put him in his place a little bit. Maybe they were harsher on him than others to make an example out of him.
Probably
in one
not.
vlog, Omi found out that federal agents boarded his flight to the Dominican Republic to make sure he wasn't trying to flee the country.
I mean, yeah, it didn't help them. I'm sure they weren't trying to they weren't pissed off. I'm sure they just this was good information for them.
But you have to remember that all of the information I just gave you, his audience didn't know about. They had no idea why the FBI was after him. They just knew Omi had to restart his life.
Please continue to support this channel. I'm gonna stay strong. I'm gonna try to beat this shit. They broke me. They broke one of the strongest people I know, which is me. They
Whoa!
broke me, but no one got me to this position. Only but me. Start taking responsibility for your actions.
Omi's YouTube channel after the raid became dedicated to him trying to regain his wealth, start new businesses, buy more cars, all while the feds were watching him. He started a printing company / merch brand under the name Reloaded, where he made and sold all different types of clothing out of a room in his house. Keep in mind he had his construction business and various other side hustles that kept him paid. Plus, it's not like the feds emptied his bank accounts entirely. Omi kept saying he was broke, but his version of broke is going from tens of millions to maybe just a few millions. But it wouldn't be long before the FBI came back.
The whole FBI situation. It seems like they're trying to tack on money laundering charges, tax evasion charges.
From 2016 to 2018, when Omi made tens of millions of dollars, he admits that he did not pay his taxes.
Bro, you had it made. You won. You had it made. You got some mills out of this. And you fucked up, and you couldn't just pay your damn taxes.
However, he had a reason. He claims that the account...
Chat, you will never get past the you have to pay your taxes. There's a lot of things you could be fucky with in life. You can't fuck with the IRS. You can't fuck with the IRS. You have to pay your taxes. You have to. There's things in life you have to do, chat. What is the two things that are guarantees? Death and taxes. You have to pay your taxes. I would know. Yes, you have to pay your taxes. Ludwig's whole thing's a lie. He pays his taxes. You have to.
Accountant he hired told him that she was CPA certified when she wasn't, and that she never paid his taxes the right way, but he was more than willing to pay the millions he owed.
Death and taxes was one of the greatest World of Warcraft guilds ever.
However, once he finally got together the money to pay his taxes, it was stolen from him. He posted a video titled, "I Got Robbed for $1 Million," in which he claims that he took $920,000 out of the bank in cash to give to his accountant. He left for Dallas for 2 days.
That already sounds shady enough. Why are you taking 920 grand out of your... Come on, give me a break.
And while he was gone, someone cut the power off from his house and stole the cash, some electronics, and his girlfriend's purses. The funny part is, a lot of his own fans were
I'm guessing that he made someone steal it so that way he can keep the money.
suspicious. It seemed like Omi was trying to stash $1 million and throw off the feds by setting up a robbery.
Yep.
Sorry, IRS, I can't pay my taxes because somebody stole my money, and here's my YouTube video to prove it. Plus, you have to think, why would anyone bother stealing Xboxes
Be
and
sure to
TVs
like and subscribe.
when you have $1 million cash? Conveniently, this video was posted on the same day that Omi released his very first sneaker, the Omi Zeros, which was just a Nike Jordan 1 silhouette that replaced the swoosh with a lightning bolt. He even took the Air Jordan branding and replaced it with Air Omi.
Dude, this guy is the epitome of eBay. Like, you're just finding random shit that just is a slight knockoffs. What's the one place? ioffer.com. Go there if you want. Like, basically, Air Omis, I'm sure, are there.
Now, taking the Nike silhouette for a shoe brand isn't
Wish.
something new. It was a really hot trend for the past few years. I even bought myself a pair. Omi would slap the word Reloaded on a popular team's logo, or really any iconic brand trade dress. It's pretty clear that Omi's specialty is copyright infringement. Building an original brand is way too much work and too risky. However, things got really bad for Omi in September of 2021 2021 when he was formally indicted with criminal copyright infringement, wire fraud, money laundering, and several other crimes. The feds came back once again and raided his house for the second time. This time, he made much bigger headlines and was even interviewed on the news.
Just to be crystal clear, the indictment that came down today...
What are you thinking?
You're saying you're completely innocent of those?
Not completely innocent would be a false statement. Now, ignorance is no excuse for the law.
Again, you'd imagine someone would be quiet during this instance,
what is
or
wrong
at the
with
very least have their lawyer speak for them.
Going on the
Omi
news?
was still convinced that he exploited the system. Omi's whole life at this point was dedicated to fighting this case. He barely uploaded YouTube videos, maybe once a month. And when he did, you could just tell this man's spirit was broken. But after months of deliberation from his legal counsel, Omi pleaded guilty in February of 2022.
I'm letting you guys know that I'm pleading guilty. Long talks with my attorney.
Yeah, you ain't beating the Fed, bro.
It's the best option, you know. Ignorance is no excuse, like I've always said. And to me, it's about, you know, accepting responsibility.
Now, he was going to serve some time in prison. 3 U.S. government attorneys say that Omar, aka Omi in a Hellcat, should serve 15 years and 8 months in prison for crimes related to his pirate IPTV service, Gears TV. So he spent all of his time grinding to get his business affairs in order so his family can survive while he is away. But on March 7th, 2023, Omi finally met his fate. United States District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, Judge Harvey Bartle III, acknowledged that the advisory guidelines of 24 years would be highly unusual for a copyright matter, and therefore decided that 66 months would be enough to punish Omar and send a deterrent
That's not so bad. A little over 5 years, that's not so bad.
message to any of his followers considering the same type of behavior. On top of the 5.5 years in prison, Omar got 5 years of
The dude, you know what? Maybe the videos were good. Maybe he made a fan out of the lawyer. Maybe the lawyer was, or the judge was a fan. So maybe he only got 5 years because he was a fan.
supervised release. He had to forfeit $30 million worth of assets, which was mostly vehicles and properties. And he had to pay more than $16 million in restitution, $10 million to the cable companies and $5 million to the IRS. But surprisingly, Omi was happy with this outcome.
Yeah. He could have gave me 15 years if he wanted to.
Oh yeah.
He really.
You can lose all the money in the world, chap. But you can't lose. You know, you're only young once. 15 years for this guy, he'd be out. You're old. You're older. 5 years and you lose all your money. I would take that over 15 years and I have all my money any day.
Could have. He really could have. He could have gave me 15 years and I guess no one would have questioned him on it. And to the fact that he gave me another chance with my kids, like I said, man, I'm always going to have that man in the back of my mind.
Throughout this entire time, Omi supported.
He'll probably get out in earlier than 5 years too if he's on parole, if he's a good boy, right? Like if he does good shit, he'll probably get out in like 3 or 4 years. That ain't so bad considering all the things he did.
Supporters have had his back, and a lot of them don't look at him as a
Apparently he's out. No way.
scammer nor a fraudster, probably because most people don't have sympathy for billion-dollar corporations.
Absolutely.
Omi was stealing from corporations and giving their product to regular.
Yep, that's it. If he was stealing from people for the same thing, you'd want his head off. But the fact that he stole from cable companies, you're gonna say he's a great guy.
People for a fair price. He came from nothing in the streets of Philadelphia and built an empire. However, that empire wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for the people who created the demand in the first place.
Shout out to Sex and the City.
Omi knows what he did was wrong, and he has accepted that he needs to do the time to pay for what he did. Just a few weeks ago, he surrendered himself into prison. If we have any faith in the justice system, we just have to hope that Omi comes out a better and changed man.
That was a good video. He won't change, but he won't do it again because he knows he can't get away with it. You know damn well he's not. He's going to do it. He's just not going to do it. Can't. Yeah, the shoes are still on sale, chat, by the way. That's funny. All right. So when are you going to prison? I need to start some kind of laundering business that my chat gets into. So if someone's down to start that, I'm down to go with it.